is 5:30 now. Thank you. We will begin with a call to order. Welcome to everybody to our May 3rd, 2023 Fiscal Planning, Finance and Building open session. And thank you everyone for joining us for today's meeting. The second item on the agenda is a motion to convene into closed session. And we are receiving the two items which we discussed in closed session, which was a status update on surplus properties and the procurement activity report. Will you move us there, Trustee Johal? And will you second that, Trustee Bailey? Thank you. All in favor? Carried. Item 4 is acknowledgement of the traditional lands. Thank you.
The land upon which we live and sustain ourselves is the ancestral and treaty lands of the Michizagig Anishinaabe, also known today as the Mississaugas of the Credit, the rightful caretakers and title holders of this land. We also recognize the rich pre-contact history and relationships which include the Anishinaabe and the Ongwe-Hongwe.
Since European contact, this land continues to be home to Indigenous and non-Indigenous peoples. As responsible community members, we value the diversity, dignity, and worth of all people.
Colonialism displaced and dispossessed Indigenous peoples of their ancestral land
and continues to deny their basic human rights, dignities, and freedoms.
We are committed to learning true history to reconcile, make reparations, and fulfill our treaty obligations to the original peoples and our collective responsibilities to the land, water, animals, and each other for future generations.
Thank you. Item 5 is the approval of the agenda. Trustee Promoli, will you move this? Trustee McDonald, will you second?
Yes.
Thank you. All in favor of the agenda? Carried. Item 6 is declaration of conflict of interest. Are there any declarations to make? Seeing none. Thank you. Item 7 is the approval of minutes. So these are here for our actual approval. Item 7.1 is to stop our student transportation of Peel Region minutes from January 27th, 2023. Will you move those, Trustee Promoli and Trustee Bailey? Will you second? Thank you. All in favor of approval of those minutes? Thank you. 7.2 is Fiscal Planning, Finance and Building Committee meeting from April the 4th, 2023. Trustee McDonald, will you move that? Trustee Promoli second it. Thank you. Are there any questions about those? And all in favor? Carried. Thank you. There are no delegations. And item 9 is staff reports. Item 9.1 is a status update. Vision Cooksville, which is here for our information, presented by Suzanne Blakeman, who's the manager of planning and enrollment. Suzanne, are you online?
Yes, I am.
Can we help with volume a little bit for that somehow?
How about that? Is that better?
It's a little better.
Okay, I'll just
see
try
if
to
Mark
talk.
can help us with any volume increase here.
I'll try to talk loud.
Okay, just give the guys a minute here. They're thinking about how we might hear that better at our end. Thank you, Suzanne, for your patience.
Let me know when you're ready to go.
That's excellent. We're good. Thank you. Thank you. We're good to go, Suzanne. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Chair Cameron, and through you. Immediately to the east of T.L. Kennedy Secondary School is the City of Mississauga's Sergeant David Yakachuk Park. The two properties together are just over 20 acres. The PDSB and the city commissioned a study by CS&P Architects to determine the feasibility of putting a fully integrated community hub, including a new secondary school, community center, public library, and park on the joint site. The report includes images of the properties as they exist and as proposed. By constructing one shared use center instead of two separate buildings, approximately 11% less gross floor area would be required, translating to potential capital cost savings for both PDSB and the city. Funding for the construction of the new secondary school would come from the proceeds of the sale of a development parcel of land along Hurontario Street. Given current market conditions, this is something that would have to be reassessed to confirm it's still a valid business case. The existing school would continue to operate during construction and would be demolished once the new school was completed. Before any of this could become a reality, the plan will need board, ministry, and City of Mississauga Council approval. Maureen O'Shaughnessy from CS&P is here tonight to assist with any questions.
Thank you. We need to move this to the floor. Trustee Promoli, Trustee McDonald seconded. Thank you. We've still got some feedback. You fixed it, Mark? Thank you. So we have moved and seconded this. Are there any questions, comments about this plan? Yes, Trustee Bailey.
How many floors is this building? Because it looks so much smaller than the actual school. So,
Maureen, I believe it's 3, or did we end up at 4 stories?
Turn on my mic. It is a 4-story building. It also has a basement, lower level, and underground parking. The perception of the height, it looks different because of the very steep slope on the site. So at one end you see the full 4 stories, but at the other end you don't see the full 4 stories.
and this school is supposed to accommodate how many students?
Approximately 1,500.
Thank you.
Are there any other? Yes, Trustee McDonald.
So, I've been spending a lot of time at schools with kiss and ride and walk to school, and I don't see a lot of serviceability, I'll use that word, from a traffic safety. I understand underground parking is where some of the cars are going to be placed, but has the traffic congestion of offloading, non-loading students been examined as part of this report?
Yes, there was a traffic impact assessment done as part of the report, and it is in the appendices to the report. And the introduction of the north-south Cook Street extension and the east-west Melissa Street break down the block into manageable properties and provide ample opportunity for drop-off and access to the various components of the site. So that was actually a very important consideration in the joint use project on the site.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Any other questions or comments? Thank you for the presentation of the information. It has been moved and seconded. All in favor of this for our information? Thank you. That's carried. Item 9.3 is procurement. 9.2 is the naming of the Center for African, Afro-Caribbean, and Black Student Success. This is also here for our information. We'll welcome this presentation by Associate Director Logan and Superintendent Day. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, Trustee Cameron. I will turn it over to Superintendent United Day, Superintendent Elementary Curriculum, Construction and Assessment, who will share the presentation of the report.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. The purpose of the report before you is to outline the background and the announcement for a center that is designed to affirm the histories, identities, and experiences of students, staff, and families who identify as African, Afro-Caribbean, and Black. The center will also welcome all members of the Peel District School Board to learn about the many contributions, gifts, histories, and success of the communities that reflect those of the African diaspora. The process for the development of the name and subsequent community consultations began in 2021. It is important to note that the policy 27, naming and renaming of schools, special function areas and facilities, is an amended policy. The process was consistent with policy 27, naming of schools, prior to the recent amendment of policy 27, naming and renaming of schools, special function areas and facilities. The report documents the consultation process that outlines community's feedback that has led to the name, mission, and vision for the center. Some highlights of the report are: in 2021, the Peel District School Board committed to the creation of a Center for African, Afro-Caribbean, and Black student success to disrupt and dismantle anti-Black racism within the board. The establishment of this center is led by a steering committee comprised of Peel staff and members of the Black community. Between June of 2022 and April 2023, the steering committee engaged in the naming of a special function area facility process, inviting feedback from Black students, staff, and families and community members. The steering committee recommended the preferred name, as outlined in the report, is the center to be named Kola Iliomade Center of Black Excellence. Through this process, the name determined by the community would embody and honor the legacy of the late activist and community leader, Kola Iliomade, an instrumental figure in the PDSB's ongoing work to dismantle anti-Black racism. The preferred name in the report is the recommendation of the Alliance. According to the procedures for naming and renaming of schools, special function areas, and facility, states in 5.6, and I quote, "The board is committed to and directs meaningful engagement with local school community, including students, when naming or renaming a PDSB school, a special function area, or a facility. Community engagement must be consistent with an available PDSB community engagement policy or procedure and must actively strive to include and engage the voices and perspectives of current and historically disadvantaged persons and groups within the local school community through various methods." Given this amendment, the recommended name for the center is the Center of Black Excellence, which reflects the first choice of the committee that would be in alignment with the new policy. The mission for the center is: the Center of Black Excellence is an identity-affirming space for Black students, Black staff, Black families, and Black communities. Their lived experiences inform and guide programs, resources, and opportunities dedicated to uplifting the African diasporic indigeneity, both historic and contemporary. For Black students, it is a place to feel welcomed and to come as they are in the fullest expression of their diverse identities. The vision for the Center of Excellence is to inspire expressions of Black joy and Black excellence throughout the PDSB community. The mandates are taken from the Black Student Success Strategy outlined in Appendix B. The consultation process involved feedback on the name, the mission, vision from Black students involved in BSAs, Black parents, Black staff, and the Alliance. From November to December 2022, consultations took place with Black students, Black student associations, Central Black Association. In January of 2023, the stakeholder group included the steering committee. And in March to April 2023, consultation included the mission, vision, and mandates, and the stakeholder groups identified are the steering committee, the Alliance, PACE, Black parents, and the community roundtable. Indeed, the timing of this report does not afford the steering committee the opportunity to recommend the name Kola Iliomade Center of Black Excellence. The Board of Trustees approved the school naming policy 27 on April 26, 2023. One of the provisions of the updated policy is that no schools, special function areas, or facilities are to be named after an individual. Given the parameters of the updated policy, together with respecting the recommendation of the steering committee, it is recommended that this committee approve the name of the center as the PDSB's Center of Black Excellence. If the committee recommends the approval of the name Center of Black Excellence, the next step is the recommendation will go to the Board of Trustees at the May meeting for approval. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for that report. We need to put this on the floor so we can offer any questions. Trustee Johal, Trustee Bailey.
Sorry, I have no questions. I just want to.
No, sorry, first we need to move it. Would you like to move it?
Yes.
Now you'd like to second it, please? Now it's on the floor, and now you have a question?
No, I don't have questions.
Okay, no question, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, are there any questions for? Sorry?
Trustee Clark has a question.
Okay.
He's up.
Oh, thank you.
Do you want me to read the motion?
No.
No? Okay.
Not yet. Trustee Clark? Do
Thank you.
have your hand up?
Chair. Yeah, through you, Chair. I'm not sure. I'm not actually on the committee. I'm just here as a visitor. So I'm not sure if this is okay. Would it be untoward to request the addition of the word persevering to the title of the school, so as to remind everybody how tough it's been and how the African diaspora has maintained its own integrity over the centuries. Thank you.
So, yeah. So because you're not actually a member on the committee,
Okay.
you wouldn't be able to create a motion
Okay.
to do that. But could you share with us a little bit more specifically what you think or what you're suggesting it might say?
The Center for Persevering Black Excellence.
Okay, so that's
the Center for Persevering Black. It was just an idea. Rather than just have just the Center for Black Excellence.
Well, I think in the context of this report, which is very in-depth and has gone back to 2021, I think it would have been incumbent on our presenters who have done this wonderful work and research on the history of Mr. Iliamadi's advocacy in this community to land us here where we are, notwithstanding that a policy changed things last Wednesday. So I don't think that it's appropriate to add that.
Okay, no problem.
In the context of the work that our staff have done to get us to this point. But thank you, Trustee Clark. I think we understand the sentiment that you have for the center's name, and perhaps in the context of Mr. Iliamadi's perseverance in advocacy within his own community. Yeah, but thank you. Okay, so yes?
Trustee Bailey.
Yes, Trustee Bailey.
So I can say, as a Black student who came up in the Peel District School Board, I'm very excited and happy about the Center for Black Excellence. The name resonates not only to me, but my family, and not just my siblings who went through the board, but also my children who are coming up in the board. So I had trouble saying which name would suit best, but it all came down to Center of Black Excellence because it said it all. I really do like that name.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, Trustee McDonald.
I'll just follow those great words by Trustee Bailey, that I think it's a great name that all that committee came, especially the student voice, which I think is really important because we're here for the students, and I think it's going to inspire our great students as we move forward. So thank you for all that work.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, Trustee Benjamin.
Thank you, through you, Chair. Yes, I agree with what Trustee
Brad McDonald and Trustee Bailey said, it's a very great, exercise that you undertook, and we are excited about it. My only question is, where is it going to be located?
Yes, go ahead. Superintendent Gay.
Yes, thank you for the question, Trustee Benjamin. That has yet to be determined, but we are in hot pursuit to try to determine a location. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other questions? I would like to add something. First of all, thank you to Superintendent Day. We had a wonderful discussion yesterday going through the report, and I really appreciated the context you provided and the depth of understanding that you shared with me around how much work went into this, how this name is a reflection of our students' voice. I felt very happy, I don't know if that's a word, but with our discussion, because of how clear you were about what this report was about. And even though it had to change course along the way, your report is very reflective of the amount of work you and your community have done, and the community of students and voices that they had, and the research that you have done. And I got a better sense of that by having a personal discussion with you. And we've never met before, I don't think, but I will say that our first meeting has been wonderfully helpful. And you must have been a great teacher at one point, because you were really wonderfully helpful in helping me to understand from 2021 to today. So thank you for that.
Thank you so much for your kind words. Appreciate it.
Thank you. So in order for us to move this name to the public session eventually, we need a motion, and Trustee Bailey can move this motion. Here's what the motion should say. I don't know if you can read my writing, but the motion should say, I'd like to make a motion to recommend that the Board of Trustees approve the name Center of Black Excellence. Can you say that?
Remember that?
From my notes, I'm happy to get a seconder for you.
So I'd like to move the motion to approve the name Center of Black Excellence.
Excellent. And Trustee Joe Hall would like to second that. That motion is on the floor for us to vote on. All in favor of that motion? That is unanimous and carried. And thank you, everyone.
There you go. Thank you. Very good.
Great work, Camille and Superintendent Day. Very much appreciate this. And my notes, you took my notes. You didn't take them, I gave them to you. Now it's, we're still in staff reports. Item 9.3 is a procurement activity report. Here for our information also, a presentation by Wendy Dobson, who's acting controller in corporate support services.
Thank you, and through you, Chair. In your package this evening, you will find the Purchasing Department Procurement Activity Report for the period of March 1st, 2023 to March 31st, 2023, and I'll be happy to answer any questions you may have on this report.
Okay, Trustee McDonald moved this to the floor. Trustee Joe Hall, will you second it? Thank you. It's on the floor. Are there any questions or comments? There are none on the procurement report. All in favor? Carried. 9.4 is a vandalism activity report, also presented by Acting Controller Dobson of the Corporate Support Services. Go ahead.
Thank you, and through you, Chair, in your package this evening, you will find the break and enter vandalism report for January 2023 and the vandalism report for February 2023. All things considered, things are very good for January and February. January is a little bit higher simply because of one situation that occurred at Loma Crescent Public School. We had a bunker broken into with that amounted to $3,500. So, but other than that, the reports are fairly stable from month to month. And I'm happy to take any questions you may have on this report.
Thank you. Can we move that to the floor? Trustee Promoli, seconded by Trustee McDonald. Thank you. Are there any questions about the vandalism activity report? Thank you for the report. All in favor? That's carried. There were no communications. Are there any trustee motions for consideration? None. There are none. Item 11 is trustee notices of motion. Do we have any being presented? None. And item 12 is adjournment, moved by trustee Promoli, seconded by trustee Bailey. All in favor? Carried. We are adjourned. Thank you everyone very much for your time.